I'm Roger Bisbee from Skill Builder, and I'm back in my shed again with another product test, and this time we're looking at 18 volt drills and also an 18 volt impact driver, both of them from Panasonic. And Panasonic is a brand that we haven't looked at before, not because we don't like them, but because you can't do everything. But we've had a lot of comments, a lot of people asking, why don't you look at Panasonic? They're great tools. We know they're great tools, but they're not such a big player in the UK as they are in some other parts of the world. In Japan, they were the #1 brand. I think they've kind of lost that perch, if you like, that podium place to Makita at the moment, but they're still very much up there, still a huge brand, and they do very well. But in the UK, they don't promote them in quite the same way. They certainly aren't up there on the top table with DeWalt and Milwaukee and Makita and Bosch, those kind of people. So they plough their own furrow, they do their own thing, and that's no harm in that. But of course we can't cover everything, so we tended to cover the most popular brands first. But now we've got them on the bench and we're looking at them. Let's see what appeals to people. Both of these are brushless. Panasonic were a bit slow coming into the brushless drill driver market, but they're here now with this offering, and this is an 18 volt machine, but it will also work on a 14.4 volt battery. So if you're already a Panasonic user, you've got 14.4 volt batteries, maybe the batteries have outlasted the tools and they're hanging around doing nothing, they will fit in here. Of course you get a little loss of performance, that's natural, you've got less voltage, but it still works and it won't do any harm. That's the important thing, it won't do any harm to the machine. Having that slight undercurrent, if you like, is not a problem for this brushless motor. So it's a good idea. You've got that versatility across the pack. You've also got a charger which will take everything from their 10.8 all the way through to their 28 volt. So you can use this charger for these batteries. You've only got to take one charger out on site, whether you've got 14.4 or 18 volt. And of course the batteries, that's the big story with Panasonic, because they make batteries. They're one of the world's leading manufacturers of batteries, and they also own Sanyo. So what they don't know about batteries isn't worth knowing. They make batteries for other power tool manufacturers, so that gives them an advantage. And you can bet your life, if they put a battery into their cordless tools, they're going to use a good one. They're not going to skimp on it. And we've heard of batteries, Panasonic batteries lasting, and I'm talking about tradesmen, people using their tools day in, day out. We hear of cases where the batteries are lasting for 5 years, which is unheard of, really. That's one of the major dissatisfactions with people when it comes to cordless tools, is the batteries don't always seem to last long enough, and we get loads and loads of comments on the bottom of our videos saying, oh, I had one of those and the battery ran out and these people had trouble with their batteries. Not so with Panasonic. Panasonic have really got this bit sorted out. So if for nothing else, if the tool was just average, the battery would be a compelling reason to go for Panasonic. Now Panasonic isn't the cheapest brand out there. You're going to pay a little bit more, but they do last longer, and I reckon that you know, if you're going to buy a drill, you might as well buy a good one. They're worth the money. Also, we've got the impact driver. Now the impact driver is again a brushless motor, very compact. It's 160 Newton meters, and that seems to be the holy grail. That seems to be as much as anybody wants to go with in the impact drivers, because over and above 160 Newton meters, you start shattering the bits. The bits are specially made for impact tools, but they can shatter if you put too much on them. So they limit that to 160 Newton meters, which is a hell of a lot. If you want to limit it further, they got a very interesting little thing on here, which is a button that selects the speed. And so what you do is you just press the button and that gives you the lowest speed. So if we try it now, you'll see that it limits the speed. Now as we press the button again, we go up to medium, and if we press it again, we go up to top speed, which is the 160 Newton meters. Because of the way an impact driver works, tapping the hammer on the anvil, if you like, all the way round rather than producing the torque from the end, because it's knocking it round, the faster the speed goes, the more torque you get. So you will only get 160 Newton meters in the top speed. But if you were doing something a bit more delicate, there are hole saws which are made for impact drivers, and all kinds of other little bits are coming in. And if you're doing something like driving in a small screw and you don't want that full 160 Newton meters, you can actually just limit it by lowering the speed. Now you could also have done that by pressing the trigger in less. So if you're diligent and careful and you can just keep your speed and you're patient, then there's no reason why you can't do that just by running the trigger. But it's a lot easier just to limit your speed like you would on a cruise control, and then you'll make sure you don't creep up. They've got that feature on both tools. It's on the drill driver as well. That speed limiter seems to be something that they like, and something they think is of benefit. So again, with the drill driver, if you don't want to drill too fast, if you're drilling through, you know, something like tiles and you're using a masonry bit, you don't want it to overheat, or you're using a hole saw, then hole saws are very often restricted on their RPM, then you can just limit the speed down there. They've also got a button here on the other side, and what that button does is just tells you the condition of the battery. So if I put that up there now, it should tell me that that battery's got a bit of life in it. It's not, so it's probably due for a recharge. So that one is showing all three lights up, so that's completely fully charged, and this one is showing nothing, which seems to suggest that that battery needs a recharge. So I'll put that on charge before we go out on site and give these a run. Another little feature they've got, if you can call it a feature, is a little button on there, and what that will do is it will switch that LED light off. So if you don't want the LED light to run, and I can't really think of any situation where you wouldn't want it, you know, where it's a problem to you, maybe there's an air raid coming, there's a blackout or something, but I can't honestly think of any reason why anybody would want to switch the LED off, because it hardly uses any current. It's really not worth switching on and off. There's a rather loud plane coming over. Sunday afternoon flying time at the local airdrome, so we've got to give them their fun. Maybe I shouldn't do my videos on Sunday afternoon. Maybe I should get a life too. But anyway, there they are. We're going to take those out on site and see what we think of them, and let you know. So I'm Roger Bisbee, thanks very much for watching. That was our first Panasonic review, and hopefully we'll come back and do some more. Hopefully Panasonic will still like us after they see this review, and we'll be getting some more tools to test out on site. See you again soon.